You are spending money every month on metformin prescriptions, berberine capsules, blood sugar support formulas, and continuous glucose monitors that cost $30, $60, even $200. While one spice that costs less than 50 cents per month and sits in the kitchen of nearly every household in Asia, the Middle East, and the Mediterranean has now been validated by 17 peer-reviewed clinical trials to reduce fasting blood glucose, reduce post-meal glucose spikes, improve HbA1c, the 3-month average blood sugar marker your doctor measures, improve insulin sensitivity at the cellular receptor level, and inhibit the intestinal enzyme that converts dietary starch into glucose in the bloodstream. The pharmaceutical industry spends billions annually researching synthetic compounds that mimic what this spice does naturally through 4 simultaneous mechanisms that no single diabetes medication addresses together. People over 45 are taking metformin that addresses one pathway, hepatic glucose production, while this spice simultaneously inhibits intestinal glucose absorption, improves cellular insulin sensitivity, reduces hepatic glucose output, and activates AMPK, the same cellular energy sensor that metformin activates, through a food-derived compound that costs 50 cents per month and has been used safely for 5,000 years. Today, I am going to show you exactly which spice this is, what it does inside your body, and how to use it correctly for 7 days to begin reversing high blood sugar naturally. But first, hold this question. If this spice activates the same cellular pathway as the most prescribed diabetes drug in the world, why has your doctor been writing prescriptions instead of telling you about your spice cabinet? I am Dr. Christine Rodriguez, and today I am going to give you the complete science of what 7 days of this spice does to your blood sugar, your insulin receptors, your pancreas, and your cellular energy, starting from the very first pinch. Now let me tell you exactly what happens inside your body when you use this spice every day for 7 days over 45. 3 things change. And by the time I finish describing all 3, you will understand why this one daily pinch does more for your blood sugar than most of what you have been purchasing to manage it. The first thing that happens is your post-meal blood glucose spike, the surge that damages arteries, glycates proteins, and feeds the insulin resistance cycle, begins flattening from the very first dose. The spice is black seed, Nigella sativa, 1 pinch per day. The thymoquinone in black seed activates AMPK through the same pathway as metformin, but through a food-derived mechanism requiring no prescription. Research published in the Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism found black seed supplementation over 12 weeks reduced fasting blood glucose by 45 milligrams per deciliter, reduced HbA1c by 1.5%, and improved insulin sensitivity markers, results that match the clinical outcomes of low-dose metformin in comparable populations. Thymoquinone inhibits alpha-glucosidase, the intestinal enzyme breaking complex carbohydrates into absorbable glucose, reducing the glucose entry rate from every carbohydrate-containing meal. It simultaneously activates hepatic AMPK, reducing the liver's glucose output during fasting and overnight, which is the primary driver of elevated fasting morning blood sugar that most people with type 2 diabetes and prediabetes struggle to lower. The second thing that happens is insulin receptor sensitivity begins recovering through thymoquinone's direct action on the insulin signaling cascade. Insulin resistance is not simply a problem of insufficient insulin. It is a problem of the insulin receptor tyrosine kinase failing to phosphorylate IRS1 and IRS2 efficiently when insulin binds. When these steps are impaired, GLUT4 fails to migrate to the cell surface, and glucose remains in the bloodstream. Thymoquinone restores IRS1 phosphorylation efficiency by reducing the serine phosphorylation that inflammatory cytokines produce, the specific modification insulin resistance requires. It also activates PPAR gamma, the same nuclear receptor that thiazolidinedione diabetes medications activate, improving glucose uptake gene expression in fat and muscle tissue. Research in evidence-based complementary and alternative medicine found black seed oil significantly improved HOMA-IR, reduced fasting insulin, and improved glucose tolerance in adults with prediabetes over 8 weeks. The third thing that happens is pancreatic beta cells receive direct protection from the oxidative stress that chronic hyperglycemia progressively destroys them with. Beta cells are among the most oxidatively vulnerable cells in the body. Their glucose sensing requires active mitochondrial metabolism generating reactive oxygen species, while their baseline antioxidant enzyme expression is lower than most cell types. As beta cells die from oxidative stress, insulin secretory capacity falls, and type 2 diabetes progresses from an insulin resistance problem to an insulin production problem. Thymoquinone is among the most potent natural NRF2 activators identified, upregulating glutathione peroxidase, catalase, and superoxide dismutase specifically in beta cells. Research in the British Journal of Pharmacology found thymoquinone significantly protected beta cell mass, improved insulin secretory capacity, and reduced oxidative damage markers in early type 2 diabetes subjects over 16 weeks. 3 changes, 7 days, 1 pinch. Now let me show you exactly how to get all 3. If you are serious about taking care of your health after 45, this video is for you. First, the 3 mechanisms in your body when you use black seed every day for 7 days. Know these before you begin. Second, 3 exact methods: precise quantities, precise timing, a complete protocol starting today. Third, the science, the mechanism, the research. A protocol validated by clinical evidence, not marketing. Write the methods down and begin today. Skip any part and you will miss the piece that makes everything else work. Here is what 7 days looks like. By day 1 and 2, alpha-glucosidase inhibition begins reducing post-meal glucose entry from the very first dose. People with blood glucose monitors notice measurably lower 1-hour and 2-hour post-meal readings from the first day of use. By day 3 and 4, AMPK activation begins reducing hepatic glucose output. Fasting morning blood sugar readings begin trending lower, often by 5 to 15 milligrams per deciliter by day 4. By day 5 and 6, IRS-1 phosphorylation efficiency improves. Insulin sensitivity begins recovering, and the amount of insulin required to manage each gram of carbohydrate falls, reducing the insulin burden on beta cells simultaneously. By day 7, all 3 mechanisms operate together. Post-meal spikes flatter, fasting readings lower, and the pancreatic antioxidant protection, reducing beta cell oxidative damage, actively preserving the insulin-producing capacity that everything else depends on. 7 days, starting today. 1 decision before the methods. Buy cold-pressed black seed oil and whole black seeds. Both forms because each delivers thymoquinone through a different absorption route and concentration. Cold-pressed black seed oil provides thymoquinone in a lipid matrix that dramatically increases its bioavailability. Fat-soluble thymoquinone absorbs near completely from oil. Whole black seeds provide thymoquinone alongside the complete seed fiber and phytochemical matrix that slows its release and extends absorption. Together, they deliver a sustained release and rapid onset thymoquinone profile that neither form achieves alone. Cold pressed, not heat extracted. Whole seeds, not powder. Available at Middle Eastern grocery stores, health food stores, and online. 1 teaspoon oil plus ½ teaspoon seeds per day. Starting today. Here is exactly how to use black seed for 7 days. The first method is the morning black seed oil activation dose, taken every day on an empty stomach, 15 minutes before any food. Every morning, take 1 teaspoon of cold-pressed black seed oil directly by mouth. Hold it under your tongue for 30 seconds before swallowing. Sublingual absorption delivers thymoquinone directly into the bloodstream through the sublingual mucosa, bypassing first-pass hepatic metabolism and producing peak blood levels within 15 minutes, rather than the 60 minutes oral administration requires. This morning fasted timing places thymoquinone at its peak blood level precisely during the morning hepatic glucose output period, the window when the liver is actively producing glucose from overnight gluconeogenesis, and when AMPK activation produces the greatest fasting blood sugar reduction. Follow the oil with a small glass of warm water, 1 teaspoon cold-pressed black seed oil, sublingual 30 seconds, warm water, empty stomach, every single morning. The second method is the pre-meal black seed alpha-glucosidase inhibition preparation, taken 15 minutes before your 2 largest carbohydrate-containing meals every day. This method positions thymoquinone's alpha-glucosidase inhibition at the intestinal absorption window before the meal's carbohydrates arrive, deploying the enzyme blockade precisely when glucose entry is about to begin. Here is exactly how to do it. 15 minutes before lunch and dinner, chew ½ teaspoon of whole black seeds slowly for 1 minute. The chewing releases thymoquinone from the seed matrix and allows salivary absorption to begin while activating digestive enzyme signaling. Swallow with warm water. Add a pinch of Ceylon cinnamon to the warm water. Cinnamon's type A procyanidins provide independent alpha-glucosidase inhibition through a separate molecular mechanism from thymoquinone, producing additive intestinal glucose blockade from 2 simultaneous pathways. ½ teaspoon whole black seeds chewed. Warm water. Ceylon cinnamon pinch. 15 minutes before each main meal, every day. The third method is the evening black seed and honey pancreatic restoration preparation, taken 3 evenings per week before bed. This method delivers thymoquinone's NRF2 activating beta cell protection during the overnight window when beta cells undergo active repair, and when the reduction of oxidative stress from the day's glucose exposures most actively occurs. Every evening, mix 1 teaspoon cold-pressed black seed oil with 1 teaspoon raw manuka honey, or dark raw honey. Add a pinch of ground black seed, not the oil, the ground seed, for the additional thymoquinone from the seed fiber matrix. Eat this preparation slowly, off a spoon. The honey's natural glucose provides a mild insulin response that improves thymoquinone cellular uptake, and manuka honey's methylglyoxal has independent documented beta cell protective activity, providing a synergistic second layer of pancreatic protection alongside thymoquinone's NRF2 activation. 1 teaspoon black seed oil, 1 teaspoon raw honey, pinch ground black seed. 3 evenings per week. Now, beyond blood sugar, insulin sensitivity, and beta cell protection, 2 other significant things happen when you use black seed every day after 45. The first additional benefit is cardiovascular protection through thymoquinone's dual LDL oxidation inhibition and ACE inhibition, the same blood pressure mechanism established in the hibiscus video, now delivered by a different food compound. Research in the Journal of Hypertension found black seed supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by 7 millimeters of mercury and significantly reduced LDL oxidation markers over 8 weeks. The second additional benefit is immune enhancement through thymoquinone's NF-kappa B inhibition and documented natural killer cell and T lymphocyte activation. After 45, natural killer cell cytotoxicity falls and immune surveillance weakens. Thymoquinone's dual NRF2 NF-kappa B activity reduces inflammatory cytokines while enhancing lymphocyte proliferation. Research in phytomedicine found black seeds significantly improved natural killer cell activity, T lymphocyte counts, and reduced systemic inflammatory markers over 8 weeks. And here's the one surprising fact about black seed that completely changes how you understand why this spice has been called the remedy for everything except death in ancient Islamic medical texts, and why modern pharmacology is now validating what traditional medicine knew 5,000 years ago. Thymoquinone, the primary active compound in black seeds, was studied in 2020 by researchers at the University of Karachi, using molecular docking analysis during the early COVID-19 pandemic to determine whether it could bind to viral proteins. The analysis found that thymoquinone had among the highest binding affinities for the SARS-CoV-2 main protease of any natural compound tested, higher than several pharmaceutical antivirals included in the same analysis. Clinical trials in multiple countries subsequently found black seed supplementation during COVID-19 infection significantly reduced symptom severity and duration. The ancient texts called it the remedy for everything. The molecular docking software confirmed the binding affinity. The clinical trials confirmed the outcome. One pinch, 5,000 years of evidence, and 17 clinical trials confirming the blood sugar mechanism that this video began with. The spice was always there. The science finally caught up. Now let me explain exactly why your body needs black seeds specifically after 45, and what stops working in your cells that thymoquinone directly restores. After 45, the mitochondrial energy crisis of insulin resistance and the mitochondrial energy crisis of oxidative damage are the same problem viewed from two angles. Insulin resistance starves mitochondria of glucose fuel. Chronic hyperglycemia floods mitochondrial proteins with glucose-derived AGEs, glycating electron transport chain complexes and reducing ATP efficiency. Thymoquinone addresses both simultaneously. Its AMPK activation restores GLUT4 glucose delivery to mitochondria. Its NRF2 activation upregulates the antioxidant enzymes protecting electron transport chain proteins from glycation. Research in antioxidants found thymoquinone restored mitochondrial membrane potential, increased electron transport chain complex activity, and improved cellular ATP production in insulin resistance-induced mitochondrial dysfunction, confirming black seed restores cellular energy from both fuel delivery and machinery protection simultaneously. Remember the question from the beginning. If this spice activates the same cellular pathway as the most prescribed diabetes drug in the world, why has your doctor been writing prescriptions instead of telling you about your spice cabinet? Because thymoquinone cannot be patented. Because cold-pressed black seed oil costs 50 cents per day and cannot generate pharmaceutical revenue. Because the Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism trial showing 45 milligrams per deciliter fasting glucose reduction was published in a nutrition journal that endocrinologists do not read when selecting first-line diabetes medications. The pathway is identical. The molecular target, AMPK, is the same. The clinical outcome, fasting blood glucose reduction, is confirmed. One pinch, 1 teaspoon oil, 15 minutes before your meals, every single day, starting today. Here's what you learned today. 3 things happen. Post-meal glucose spikes flatten as thymoquinone inhibits alpha-glucosidase at the intestinal absorption step. Insulin receptor sensitivity restores as IRS-1 serine phosphorylation falls and PPAR-gamma activates. And beta cells receive NRF2-driven antioxidant protection from the oxidative destruction hyperglycemia accumulates. 3 methods. Morning teaspoon black seed oil sublingual empty stomach for AMPK activation at peak gluconeogenesis. Half teaspoon whole seeds chewed with Ceylon cinnamon 15 minutes before each main meal for dual pathway glucose blockade. And evening black seed oil with raw honey 3 nights per week for overnight pancreatic restoration. Cold pressed oil, always. Sublingual, always for the morning dose. Starting today. If this video gave you the honest science behind a 50-cent daily solution for the blood sugar your prescriptions are managing expensively, please hit that like button right now and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, have you heard of black seed before today? Or is this the first time? Drop your answer below, because your response helps another person over 45 understand that the spice their grandmother used for everything has 17 clinical trials confirming it works. 1 teaspoon oil, sublingual, empty stomach, starting tomorrow morning. I will see you in the next one.